right, welcome to Championship Week. The nice thing about these episodes is the farther into the playoffs we go, the shorter they get. So we only have one preview for this weekend. We can talk a little bit about last week. Relatively low scoring week. There was a bunch of people playing in really bad weather, so the scores were pretty low. Ross is able to outlast Sam 117 to 104. Not an upset there. Ross has been pretty consistently one of the 4 or 5 best teams. The real upset is Wes coming in over the top to beat Libby. He was so upset that his pick of Seth for the championship was so wrong that he decided to right that wrong by making it to the championship himself. Good for you, Wes. I'll give ourselves a little pat on the back for getting maybe the champion on as our last guest.
Yeah, and I've been saying that Ross was going to win this whole time, so that pick is still alive. But it's funny because Wes put himself and you in the bucket of a chaotic good team where you don't know what they're going to be, but really consistent wins for him. And he has to give credit to one Kirk Cousins for some dominant quarterback performances in the clutch. I'm surprised he's not starting him this week, but we can get into that.
Yeah, the Vikings got I'm trying to think of a old quarterback who just got most of his yards from garbage time. But the problem with Kirk Cousins is it's not technically garbage time because they end up coming back and winning.
Yeah, because they're literally in every game, every second of the game.
But they go down by like 20 points, so he has to throw the ball the entire second half.
I don't know what the
Justin,
garbage time
I looked
is,
I looked at the first half, I think, and Jefferson had like 0.4 points. I didn't really care. I wasn't even really checking, but like I just had dropped in basically to check the NFL scores. And I was like, oh man, this is really bad. And then he ends up with 25 points.
The Vikings in the fourth quarter are a juggernaut, and the other 3 quarters they're just kind of a. That's my official analysis.
Having had told Wes this and said it multiple times throughout the season that Wes and I's team is very parallel, basically. I'm going to take a 1% feel good of him beating Libby because it's like my team beat Libby 1%.
Yeah. And I think it would have been boring if the best team in the league was just going to continue to roll and win. So I always like seeing parity and an underdog coming through.
I know it sounds very like millennial, everybody gets a trophy kind of thing, but I think there should be similar to like NCAA basketball or, whatever, where like the conference championship is a semi-big deal. I think Libby should feel very good being the best regular season team. That's a more consistent stretch of how well you put in, the time and the good drafting and all that. And he led the league in points too. So, I mean, at the end of this year, whoever wins obviously will be remembered as the champion, but I don't think anybody is going to forget Libby's crazy good team.
No, not at all. And he mentioned that in his letter too, that it was his favorite season of fantasy football, and I think he should. Anytime you can be dominant like that, you should be proud of that.
So yeah, congratulations, Libby. I picked you to win the championship. You came up short, but man, what a great team. You can't really say more than that. It's just, the way fantasy football works. It is more luck than it is skill. Looking ahead to the matchup this week, it's already underway since we're coming after you after the Thursday game. Wes is currently, Wes is currently up 15.3 to 10 on Ross. Ross is projected to win by 2 points currently, but that's going to be a tight, fun one to watch all the way through. Throw your text, throw some love Ross and Wes's way. Because this is the only thing that matters anymore. This is the last thing that matters for the entire fantasy league. Your team doesn't matter. It's only these 2 teams.
I pulled up the matchup today and I laughed at Wes's lineup because players you wouldn't expect to be on the finalists. One of the finalist teams are Gardner Minshew, Hassan Haskins, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Pacheco. Who are these
Well,
people?
Isaiah Pacheco has been pretty good running back for the Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true. But if you told me at the start of the season this is going to be the lineup of one of the teams in the championship, I would have been like, huh? Because I do not recognize how this team would have made it. But we'll see.
I am unequivocally one of the biggest Gardner Minshew fans of all time. In the 1 year that I lived out in Washington near Washington State University, I've claimed him as my own, even though I have no affiliation with the university whatsoever. He is my guy. He's the next coming of Brett Favre. He just needs to be able to get out there and sling. Rodgers can go ahead and retire. I'll take Gardner Minshew as my starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers any day of the week.
Wow. Well, you might be speaking that into existence, depending on the outcome of this Sunday's game and if the Packers make the playoffs.
All right. Well, speaking of our emotional collapses, we do have a personality test for what type of fantasy GM. That's going to be kind of our fun activity since there's not much to talk about games wise. So Tim has found an online quiz to find your strategy, basically, your emotional strategy, who you are as a owner of a fantasy and drafter of a fantasy football team. So I believe I am going to take the quiz and then Tim will share his results.
Yep. So I'm going to share my screen, but this is something I put together in literally an hour this morning. I wrote the questions. You will be assigned. It's like if you were deciding which Hogwarts house you were in. There's 4 GMs, 4 unique personality GMs that you could get in this result, and it will be fun. I'll send out the link after this so that you all can fill it out too. But we'll have Luke do this live. So we got Trader Rick Spielman as the background image. He's my spirit animal. He's not one of the answers, but what is your personality? So question number 1. Pick your most preferred auction draft strategy.
I gotta say Stars and Scrubs. I think that's going to be my strategy going forward. I heavily invested into it this year. I don't know if I've done it as much in the past. I think in the past I'd probably be more diamond in the rough or the strategist, but I think going forward in this year, especially Stars and Scrubs.
Yep. All right. Question number 2. Pick a photo. Don't think about it too much.
No, I have to get into saying an embarrassing thing that I don't know if I've said out loud, but I think Jalen Hurts is an extremely attractive man. I just really love him as a player too, so I'm going Jalen Hurts.
That earring is second to Michael Jordan in coolness.
He looks like the coolest guy in the entire world. He's supposed to be super nice, so I think he's just an awesome dude.
All right, trade time.
Decline, because I've had this happen this year.
Just
or at least I've had to think about it. I'd probably haggle over because I would come back with something where I probably turn the trade in my favor.
So decline and counter or haggle? Because those are 2 different things.
I would decline and counter immediately and then haggle.
Okay, that would be a decline and counter.
Because like I said, I would counter with something that probably was definitely in my favor, and then I'd have to haggle.
Yep. Okay, so Kamish is proposing rule changes. Pick your preference.
Oh, this is easy. Superflex.
Superflex. Okay. I hate Superflex. That
I've always wanted to try it, but this is the only fantasy league that I'm in, so I just deal with whatever the rules are here.
Pick a photo.
I gotta go llama.
Llama, nice. Okay, what is your preferred waiver ad strategy?
Unless it's an alpaca.
No, it's a llama. This is gonna be an easy one for you. What's your preferred waiver ad strategy?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah,
turnstile. Okay.
At about 11 p.m. every Sunday, I just drop every player that's stunk on my team.
So this was better when I had, we had a baby who would wake up and like have to eat overnight, but at 3 a.m. I would pull open the ESPN fantasy app and see who didn't make it, and I'd sneak some people through. So that's me. That's who I am. This next question: the season is over, a champ's crown. Spoiler, it's not you. What is your message to the league?
It's definitely the last one. I go
I'm
through
the
that until August. Tim can even attest to this.
Yep.
It'll be like June, July, and I'll be like, I don't think I'm playing this year. I'm gonna let Libby know,
Yep.
and then I always talk myself back into it.
Yep. Take a
Oh
photo.
man, who's the guy in the top left?
It's Howie Roseman.
That's Howie Roseman. I gotta talk like a Gettleman.
Okay. And this is the last question. So when I click this, you're going to see your results. You are Howie Roseman. Which actually that's good because that's the GM I would have picked for you, the young GM of the people. You know exactly where to find the best value in the draft, free agency, and trades.
Maybe. I always feel like the middle child in this fantasy league, though, because I'm not the youngest, I'm not the oldest, and I'm definitely probably the most annoying. So I think I got middle child syndrome here, but maybe that is the young GM in me.
Yeah, I think, I mean, he is the young GM, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are young. You and I would put like Sam in this category too, just like the
Ross
shark.
a little bit.
Yep. So I'll the four categories are Bill Belichick, Jerry Jones, and Dave Gettleman. Those last four pictures are the four GMs that you could get. I actually got Howie Roseman too, probably because I galaxy brain a little bit. So I'll send this out and I'll see. I hope that there's enough variance and not everybody gets the same thing.
I'll be interested to see who gets Belichick, because I have an idea going back through the questions where that might be, but I don't know off the top of my head if I'm just putting those personalities on people in our league, if I could guess who would get that.
Yeah, Belichick is like the strategy wizard, the guy who will in the draft will run the scores up and try to make people make mistakes, and he would haggle over the text over trades and stuff. Jerry Jones is just like the dumb but really good. Not dumb,
well,
but
what you should have done
spender.
for Jerry Jones is one of the questions should have been like, do you only pick players from your favorite team? Then you're Jerry Jones.
I mean, I could have written like
you are Jerry Jones.
I could have written like 5 more questions if I had more time, but that was one of them that I was going to try to put in. But it was a fun exercise.
I don't know if this happened to you, but it happened to me a little bit. I think it's happened past seasons in fantasy where one person in the league will be doing really well based on an NFL team. So me, Raiders this year, Libby, Dolphins this year.
Ross, Rams last year.
Correct. That I, for some reason, in the back of my mind, when I think of Libby, I just think of the Dolphins and not the Lions anymore. So he'll be like excited about a Lions win when he comes on to the pod for us. And I'm like, why are you excited about the Lions? The Dolphins are the good team. They're the ones that's really doing it for you.
That's true. I mean, you do become an owner of, when you own people on your team, you kind of take on the personality of it.
I never cheered for the Raiders. And I also tried to watch as few of their games as possible because they're terrible. And Devontae if I was in the championship, Devontae could be one of the most disappointing playoff players ever, really. He's been terrible.
Oh yeah, this is like the end of the season is why it's hard to have the championships at the end of the season, because you have stuff like this that happens where they'll sit like a quarterback, or like just the teams will be tanking and you just won't know who to start, and it could mess up the results.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got the coach fantasy comparison thing that we'll be sending out. Good luck to Libby and to Wes. Or not Libby. Sorry, Libby. I just expect
we just
you to
wanted
be there
Libby
now.
to win.
Good luck to Wes and Sam on the championship game. It'll be fun to see who comes down with that. I think Sam has won before. Is that correct?
Yes. I can't remember.
So I was gonna say it would be fun for Wes to win. He'd be a new champion. He's relatively new to the league compared to everybody else. So I think that'd be pretty fun. I'm gonna put my tokens behind Wes. But it'll be fun either way. I'm not gonna be upset if Sam wins.
Ross, and I'll be sticking with my Ross
Ross,
prediction.
gosh.
Actually, I think I said since the start that Ross is gonna win, and I'm gonna stick with that.
Okay, that will make me upset if Ross wins.
What has he actually won though? Because I was trying to look back. Libby had sent like the stats since 2016, and I don't think Ross has actually won, despite being the enemy, public enemy
right.
number one.
All right, so going back just 4 years, it's been Tom 2018, Tim 2019, Libby 2020, and then Tom last year. So, within the group of guys that we've already had, neither Ross nor Wes have won. So it would be a first-time champion.
Yeah. Interesting though that we rag on Ross's team every single year, and yet he hasn't won. He's just always good.
Yeah, well, it'll be fun. Like I said, send a text out to either one of those guys, give them some luck. We'll probably have a wrap-up show. I don't know what we're going to do for that yet, but we'll try and get a bunch of people on that want to join up and just talk about the season, talk about any funny, cool things that happened, and then maybe get Libby on and yell at him about rule changes. But we'll have something coming up after next week. Good luck to the teams that are still in it. Still have fun for the teams that aren't in it. And I don't have any recommendations to give.
I don't either, but the Packers are going to beat the Vikings. Book it.
Maybe.
Football.